This is M. Carter Pierce, and you're watching The Daily Reel. I have a question, and the question for today is what is your goal? I'm not talking about you, the viewer. I want to know what this administration's ultimate goal is, because I believe I know already. You see, greedy people are in charge here. I was taught a long time ago that it's not the president who actually runs the country, but it's multinationals and their interests. ExxonMobil, Tesla, SpaceX, Amazon, those guys. Donald Trump is a greedy man. He always was. And because he never worked a day in his life and had everything handed to him on a silver platter, he never learned to value a day's work. He doesn't know the struggle of working check to check, living check to check. He doesn't understand that. And by the way, 98% of the American population is just who I described. The people who do live paycheck to paycheck. Without SNAP, they will suffer food insecurity. That means their kids won't eat. They're going to dry out the food banks. Donald Trump doesn't care about that. All Donald Trump is interested in is, number one, himself. Number two, enrichment of himself. And number three, gaining power for himself. That's it. In, of, and for himself. And I see something that he's trying to do, and maybe you haven't seen it. But here's the thing. He's manufacturing emergencies all over the country. By sending, first he sends in ICE. They commit chaos. People protest the chaos. And when they protest the chaos, even though it's peaceful, Donald Trump sends in the troops. He's doing it all over the country. And what's the purpose of that? So that he can declare a state of emergency. Because when you declare a state of emergency, that unlocks a full plethora of unique presidential powers. The first thing he can do is declare martial law. And then ultimately, what he can do is suspend habeas corpus. And that nullifies the court system, the Supreme Court, and overrides Congress. Now, that's one way of doing it. You manufacture a civil unrest, the people react, and then you use your emergency powers to assume complete control and consolidate power. The other way you do, which he's doing also, is you take things away from the people. You force them to pay more for health care where they can't pay for their food. Okay? I'm going to lower prices on day one. The prices have gone up since he said that. On everything. Without fail, without break, without cessation. He creates an unaffordable situation. You can't afford health care insurance. People are going to die. You're not allowing SNAP benefits to be paid. So people are going to starve to death. You made the markets volatile. You're not creating jobs. In fact, you've lost jobs. You've stagnated the country. And the fear from the banks and the credit unions is we're going to go into a governmental collapse and an economic collapse. Try getting a small loan right now. Even if your credit is 850, try getting a small loan. They're not doing it because we suffer a governmental and or economic collapse. These banks and credit unions know they're not going to get paid. It's that simple. And when that collapse happens, it will be apocalyptic. And out of the ashes, Donald Trump will create his authoritarian regime. This will be the USSR Western version. What it's all about is one man's greed and his desire to condense power to himself. And it's just wrong. Why should we allow that to happen when we, the people, are the majority of this country? And yet there are still fools among us who think that this man is on their side. It's preposterous. The courts have been the front line at this point. They've been the front line in defending our rights and freedoms. State courts have been knocking back everything that he tries to do. It's time that some other adults in the room get with the program. Congress is ineffectual right now with a coward like MAGA Mike Johnson at the helm. He's so afraid of losing his job because if he swears in Adelita Grijalvo, she's the 218th signatory to get those Epstein files released. And we find out how big a pedophile Trump really is. Oh yeah, he is one. And so is Steve Bannon and Peter Thiel, right off the top. Just so you know, because their names are in the Epstein files too. And no, Obama and Bill Gates aren't in there, from what I understand. But this is what they're trying to project. This is what some fools are willing to believe. You know, when a guy lies to you, it's really not wise to take his word as gold. Trump has been a known liar for 50 years, and I know that because I've lived more than 50 years. I've watched him lie over the years. Everything has been a sham, a con job, and an image. And not a good one at that. I mean, whatever made him think that when he became the leader of the free world that he wouldn't come under a microscope, just like everybody else did. Reagan did, Clinton did, the Bushes have. Everybody comes under the scope when you're the most powerful man in the world. But he thought he would bounce around it. He lies about his own appearance. It's a facade. He's a 79-year-old man with congestive heart failure and dementia, which runs in his family. He's a liar, and he's high off his own supply of narcissism. We need some adults in the room so we can find out what our true goals should be, not what his idea of what the goal is. I'm M. Carter Pierce, and this is The Daily Rail. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you on the next one. Oh, and by the way, no MAGA. You comment on this, you say something, you're blocked, you're gone off the channel. I don't have time for you.